Hello, I'm Richard from Old Tree Bonsai, and we are continuing our series on how to make a bonsai. Today, we've taken a plant that we've done some previous work on, and we're going to develop this into a cascade bonsai. We'll be doing a little bit more pruning in the lower part of the plant and the upper part of the plant, and we'll cover some basic wiring, and then we'll proceed to wire this plant and create a very nice bonsai that will be ready for repotting. We've selected a piece of anodized aluminum wire that matches the color of the tree, and we've selected the wire based on the thickness and what the branches will do. By taking a small piece of the wire and pushing against the branch, if the branch will move without bending the wire, generally that's large enough to hold the branch in place. With a smaller piece of wire, if we pushed against this and the wire had bent, then we would know that we needed to get a larger piece of wire. The first thing that we need to do with the wire is to anchor it in place. So in this case, we're going to press it down gently into the soil. We ran into a root there, so we'll just move around a little bit until we can move it down a couple inches. Then we'll bring this wire around, and what we want to do is to bend the wire and then put it in place. We'll bend the wire and then put it in place. We don't want to just wrap this around and around very tightly against the branch. We want to leave very small space between the branch and the wire. This is about the thickness of a piece of paper. So it needs to be on there firm, but we don't want it on there tight. So I'm going to go up this upper part of the tree here. I'm going to move about 45-degree angles up right in through here from the back this way. We'll move this on up. The wire that we selected was approximately the length of the area that we're going to move plus 1/3. And I like to use just a little bit more in case we don't want to run out at the end.
So we've added wire to the branch. Now we're going to take this and we're going to place our fingers so that we cover as much area as possible, and then we're going to place our thumbs in there so it covers as much area as possible. We're going to make a bend on the back side, so we're going to bend the wire toward the viewer there, toward you. We'll bend this right in through there, and it's not just a quick snap. If you did, you'd break like a pencil. So we'll take this and slowly squeeze it and we'll bring it up a little bit, hold it in place for just a moment. And the lower part is going to bend back a little bit because the wire is not quite strong enough. And we'll move on up the plant. We'll do the same thing there. We'll bend a little bit. We want to make these bends going forwards and backwards so that we can get some movement into this plant. Now, after you make that movement, just hold it in place. Then we'll make some more bends. Then we'll make another bend up here at the apex. Very slowly. So that we have some movement into this tree. Now we can let it rest. In a few more moments we can come back and try to make a little bit more of a bend. If it doesn't bend and stay in place, then we want to add more wire.
We're going to move now to the lower portion of the tree. And what we'll need to do is anchor a wire here, and we'll be doing a little bit different. Well, we use a plier and we can turn this around, make a loop, a little bit of a loop, fit that onto the branch. This is a branch that we will not need. We left the stub intentionally to help with the wiring. And we can have this in here, and what we want to do is to go around. We want to move this around the stub. Make sure that's nice and tight on the stub. And then we'll make the wraps around. Again, making the turn, making a bend in the wire first, and then putting it in place. We've continued wiring the plant. We've added more wires to some of the branches that we know we're going to keep. Now we're going to remove a few more branches so that we can get a better idea of what the final plant is going to look like. When we pot it up, we're going to move it slightly back so that this upright portion is a little bit more upright, and it'll also give us a little bit more room from the base of the pot, and then we can style and move the wire on the lower cascade. Now we'll go ahead and remove some of the branches that I feel like we don't need in the pot. Here's a big branch that's low that we don't need. There's a branch here in front that's not absolutely necessary in there. There's also one here. And there is one back here. We need the back branch, and I was going to use this one earlier, but I think it shows a little bit more of the trunk. We've placed wire on some of the smaller branches. There's one hanging down here, but by bringing it up and out, you can make sure we have sunlight on it. You can also remove some of the extra small pieces. Then this branch right here, we'll bring this to the back, and this can become a back branch that will give us a little bit more perspective, a little bit more three-dimensional to the tree. And we'll also give it a little bit of a bend, and that will shorten the branch up and bring it closer to the tree, the trunk there. Then this side branch, we bring it down. Let me see what we get over here. Bring it down. It already had some nice movement in it. And then this branch over here, we have two branches coming up this way. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move this and push this branch to the outside. Then we can bring another branch, bring this other part around, and then maybe leave it up a little bit. Then we'll go to the other side, give it a little bit more upright so we don't have a U shape right in here. And then also there's a little bit more wire here. We can bring that around and kind of bring this up a little bit. And we'll turn this around for just a moment. We can take these and cut off some of this growing tip. Try to tighten up these foliage pads a little bit. Also, when you cut out a growing tip, a little bit better cut from the front here. When you take out the growing tip, then the energy goes to the side branches and they'll grow much better. Now, as you can see, we've done more wiring on the plant, and we removed a lot of branches that weren't necessary. The way we decided to do that was, first we wired in as many branches as we wanted to keep, then we removed branches that were facing downward or weren't necessary for this informal upright in the top part of the tree, and then for the cascade we wired it down and then around to the front of this tree, and then we moved it back and forth, up and down, and then removed branches that were on the inside of bends, branches that were underneath. These are branches that won't get any sunlight. In our next session, we'll repot this tree at a slight angle so that the informal upright is a little bit more up and down. And we can again do some adjustments on the cascade, and then we will continue by repotting the plant. Thank you for watching our videos.